Okay, something to think about. With all of the supply issues that we're having, food shortages, parts shortages, material shortages, I want to tell you a little story. A little while ago, I'm driving a semi-truck right now, but I was driving back then. I was driving a truck and a check engine light came on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a check engine light. I don't think it was a check engine light. Anyways, took it into the shop and they said it's the DEF, part of the DEF system, the diesel exhaust fluid. And what was going on with it was it couldn't read the DEF level in the tank. You know, the sensor was bad, so it needed a new sensor. Now the issue is with that, they didn't have the part, and they weren't going to be able to get the part for a long time, probably about a month. Now on a modern diesel vehicle, at least in North America, they all run DEF. And if you run out of DEF, or if the sensor is bad and it thinks that you're out of DEF, then the engine is going to derate to about 5 miles an hour. There ain't a whole lot you can do about it unless you want to do a DEF delete. And if you want to run California, or actually, you know what, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to do a DEF delete now. But yeah, so I was going to be waiting for at least probably about a month for that part. Luckily, that wasn't the only truck that was available, so I was able to take a different vehicle and continue making money. I'll tell you another story. One of my buddies, he drives a tractor trailer as well, and he is actually still waiting on a part that he's been waiting on for about 2 months now. It's not an out of service or anything. It's just a simple part. He doesn't need to park the truck and wait for it. But if he did need to park the truck and wait for it, it's been 2 months, and God only knows when they're going to get the part. It's not a very important part, so it's not really prioritized, but, he's still waiting on that part. Here recently, just the other day actually, I had to go to the shop while I was on the road because the truck needed a new brake line or brake hose, and what was going on with it was 2 brake hoses were rubbing against each other and it was wearing them down prematurely, so it needed to be replaced, it needed to be fixed. Now I took it to a shop in the Los Angeles area, and real simple part, just brake hoses. They're real common. Every truck's got them. The issue is they didn't actually have any on site in the Los Angeles area, so they had to order the part to get there, and it took about 2.5 to 3 hours for the part to actually show up. Now imagine if it obviously the part came from the Los Angeles area, thank God. But imagine for a moment that nobody in the Los Angeles area had that part. Let's say the part had to come from Bakersfield. That's about 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours away with good traffic. So they would, that probably would have taken all day to actually show up where I was. Now imagine that on a much larger scale. Imagine trucks breaking down left and right and not having the parts to fix them. Now that truck is going to sit there until that part shows up, especially if it's an out of service issue. Things could get real bad. Things could get real interesting real quick. if trucks break down, which they will, because you put about 3,000 miles every week on these trucks, probably about 10,000 miles a month, anywhere between like 90 to 120,000 miles a year. Semi trucks are built better than regular vehicles, but again, they're just vehicles and they do break down. When they break down, if nowadays it's a toss up in the air if the place is going to have the parts and if they're going to be able to fix them or fix the vehicle then and there, or how long are you going to have to wait. If trucks are broken down on the road, then that obviously means that they can't get to the grocery store or wherever they're going, they can't get there. These trucks, the modern semi-trucks, they are more computer. Well, this is what I always say. They're more computer than they are truck. This truck that I'm driving right now is an automatic, unfortunately. It's got plenty of sensors and it's got plenty of issues of its own. There are there's times where the truck can't make up its mind on what gear it wants to be in, or if it wants to go into a gear, that kind of stuff. And if that stuff breaks down, that's a driving issue, and that vehicle's going to be sitting in the shop for a little while. So this is, when vehicles start breaking down, and if they can't get the parts to fix them, then it's going to add on to the shortages that we're already having right now. Everything going on in the world right now, China, Russia, Ukraine, all that stuff. Obviously, there is a food shortage. There is no doubt about that. There's no question about that. Ukraine is, one of the major food suppliers for the world. And they're not planting right now. They're not harvesting. China, the ships are having issues getting back into China because of things that are going on inside the country. We all know that everything is being offloaded in California at the ports relatively slowly. And when these things get offloaded in California, they go into trailers, containers, and they get either put on a tractor trailer or they get put on a train, and then they're distributed throughout the country that way. Well, if trucks are breaking down, then yeah, you still have the trains. But here's the issue with the trains is you still need a truck to get it from the train or the rail yard to the actual store. Train's not going to be able to deliver to a store. That's just not going to happen. So, if trucks start breaking down, yeah, the trains can get the product to, the rail yards, but you still have to wait on that truck to get it from the rail yard to the store. Okay, and I have one last thing to say, and that is, at least with my company right now, we are not at we're not in a busy season for freight. We're starting to slow down on freight right now. Guys, I run Los Angeles a lot. So Los Angeles has, it's an industrial area. They've got a lot of industrial parks. They've got a lot of trucks go in and out of LA. Obviously, you got the port of LA. I don't actually go to the port, but I take a lot of freight out of LA. And there's just not a whole lot of freight. I'm not saying there isn't any freight coming out of LA, but we're starting to slow down. Sometimes we're having a little bit harder time to locate freight. So that's just saying there is freight. Freight is being moved around the country still. Obviously, there's plenty of trucks on the road, but guys, there isn't as much freight right now, and you might be seeing all these tractor trailers on the highway. But no, you know what? Not all of them are loaded. Some of them are empty. You know, when they're empty, it's called deadheading. You know, you deadhead to pick up a load after you finish dropping off. Well, lately I've been deadheading, you know, quite a ways. You know, I'll deadhead from Central California all the way to the LA area to pick up a load because there's not a whole lot coming out of, you know, the Central Cali area. You know, some people are deadheading further and further right now to just pick up a load. So don't be fooled with all the tractor trailers that you see on the highway because not all of them are loaded. Have a good one. Stay safe.